Hello there, a great evening to you indeed, and many thanks for joining us on Rwanda Television News tonight. We do hope you had yourselves a great Monday and a great start to your week. And now, welcome to Edition. These are the headlines. On Monday, President Paul Kagame and his Angolan counterpart, His Excellency João Lourenço, met in Angola, Rwanda for discussions on peace efforts as the DR Congo crisis escalates. Rwanda's gross domestic product surpassed initial projections of 6.2% to register a growth of 8.2% in 2023. And to international matters, Zambia has received the first shipment of a new medicine to prevent HIV infection. Good evening to you once again, and we are very glad to have your company tonight. On Monday, President Paul Kagame and his Angolan counterpart, His Excellency João Lourenço, met in Angolan capital Luanda for discussions on the security situation in eastern DR Congo. According to the Office of the President, Village Rubiro, the heads of state agreed on key steps towards addressing the root causes of the conflict and the need to uphold the Luanda and Nairobi processes to achieve peace and stability in the region. Angolan President João Lourenço is the mediator between Rwanda and DR Congo, whose diplomatic relations were affected by the conflict in eastern DR Congo, where the government-led coalition is fighting the M23 rebel group. To other matters, Rwanda's gross domestic product surpassed initial projections of 6.2% to register a growth of 8.2% in the year 2023. Finance and Economic Planning Minister Dr. Uzziel Ndagijimana emphasized that expectations were tempered by the prevailing conditions of the global economy at the time. Adam Squizera has the details.
Statistics from the National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda reveal a robust economic performance throughout the 4 quarters of 2023, whereas in the first quarter, the GDP surged by 9.2%, followed by a 6.3% increase in the second quarter. The positive trend continued in the third quarter with a growth of 7.5% and a significant peak that was found in the fourth quarter. The average GDP growth for all quarters in 2023 stands at an impressive rate of 8.2%, surpassing the expected growth rate of 6.2%. The Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Uzziel Ndagijimana, clarifies that the 6.2% rate was influenced by the global recession in the past. While projecting this, we also focused on various reasons that will support the increase of the rate, particularly the global economic crisis, based on the hike of commodity price, wars, and transportation, whether air and water transport. But what we chief for is that we didn't experience an exorbitant hike as was expected. Overall, in 2023, the agriculture sector comprised 27% of the total GDP, as the industrial sector contributed 22%, while the service sector accounted 44%. Yusuf Murangwa, the Director General of the National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda, NICR, highlights that the implemented measures aimed at economic recovery have yielded positive results.
So, turimo turabona activity nyinshi cyane in terms of calling.
We now have many activities in terms of internet usage, as one of the 2 major contributors to this ICT sector. Like in the last year, we sometimes experienced a growth basically came from the investment opportunities, but by this time, we saw that ICT services contributed much to this year's GDP. In 2023, the service sector demonstrated substantial growth at 11%, while manufacturing experienced a significant uptick at 10%. However, the agriculture sector saw a more modest increase of 2%, as the production of cash crops witnessed a decline of 4%, which primarily attributed to the lower yields in tea and coffee production, which were also impacted in the previous year. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adam Skuzera, for the report. And moving ahead, today Rwanda joined the rest of the Commonwealth member countries to celebrate the Commonwealth Day. And to this, members of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, the Rwandan branch, noted that while various member states face unique challenges and strive for further development, there is need to build one resilient common future by joining efforts in addressing global matters. We do have the details with Olive Nete.
While every year member states celebrate the Commonwealth Day, members of the Rwandan Parliament also celebrated the day. They highlighted the role of parliamentarians in addressing challenges that hinder the development of citizens. They also interacted on several subjects related to the mission of Commonwealth. Honorable Donatille Mukabalisa, the Speaker of the Chamber of Deputies, notes that it is a day to reflect on collective actions to solve shared challenges while also working on tangible recommendations aimed at empowering citizens.
I truly believe that as Rwandans, citizens of a very active member of the Commonwealth, we can join our voice to the rest of the Commonwealth family to reflect and to address the global challenges. As parliamentarians, I challenge ourselves to make a critical reflection as to come up with tangible and sustainable collective actions through our legislative and oversight prerogatives to ensure that our respective citizens are safeguarded and resilient towards the harsh realities that our world is going through.
The President of the Senate, Dr. Francois-Xavier Kalinda, highlights the importance of considering core values of the Commonwealth while making decisions regarding the well-being of the population they serve.
Your commitment to the principles of the Commonwealth reaffirms our collective commitment as a country to the core values that bind our Commonwealth family, particularly strengthening governance, building inclusive institutions, and promoting social justice. These values represent a vision that transcends our present world and our own lives. They are our gift to the future generations. Today, as we celebrate this day, it is imperative that those values of unity, good governance, inclusion, and social justice continue to shape the decisions that the Parliament takes and the choices that we make.
The Commonwealth Day is celebrated every first Monday of the second week of March every year. Particularly this year, the theme revolves around one resilient common future, transforming our Commonwealth. The Commonwealth has 2.5 billion citizens. Olive Nete, RTV News.
And on Monday, Rwanda joined a global celebration of Commonwealth Day, formerly recognized as Empire Day, to align with other nations to honor the unity and diversity within the Commonwealth of Nations. Particularly in Rwanda, the day was celebrated with a close focus on environmental resilience and wetlands sustainability, highlighting the crucial role of the youth in climate action and conservation efforts. The Minister of Environment, Dr. Maria Jeanne d'Arc, highlighted that the contribution of young people in addressing climate change issues is key.
Here today, because we believe in the power of youth in climate action, each and every one of you, our young champions, has the ability to make a difference. By understanding the significance of wetlands and taking action to protect and rehabilitate degraded ecosystems, we can ensure a sustainable future for generations to come. Young people, you are nature's guardians. You hold the responsibility of being the future stewards of our land. Embrace this role, recognizing that every action you take contributes to the well-being of our environment. Show love to nature and wildlife and you will be rewarded by a resilient ecosystem for a common future.
On behalf of His Majesty King Charles III, the British High Commissioner to Rwanda, Omar Adair, conveyed his message, which emphasized the need for efforts in addressing key challenges that hinder the world today.
The Commonwealth represents a third of humanity from all regions of the world with different experiences, knowledge, and aspirations that this brings. Wherever we live, we are united by the many challenges we face, whether it's climate change, the loss of nature, or the social and economic changes that new technologies are bringing. Our differences mean that these challenges affect us all differently, and that we experience their impacts in different ways. But the seriousness is common to all of us. And so that means we must work together to understand each other's perspectives, including the inequalities and injustices which still resonate to this day. It is by coming together that we create the best chances to improve our world and the lives of people everywhere. The Commonwealth, above all, retains a particular focus on our young people, who make up 2/3 of the entire Commonwealth population. Whether in Kenya or Malaysia or Vanuatu or Dominica, Malta or Canada, I never cease to be impressed by their creativity, innovative skills, and hard work, often in the most challenging circumstances. Their energy is transforming approaches to development, technology, and preserving and restoring nature, and will, I hope, help to shape and safeguard our common future.
The Commonwealth comprises of 56 member states, the majority of which are former colonies of the British Empire, spanning across Africa, Asia, the Americas, Europe, and the Pacific. The next Commonwealth heads of government will be meeting in the Pacific Island country for the first time, gathering in Samoa in October 2024. Moving ahead to other matters, Jean-François Richard, the first prosecutor of the French Terrorism Prosecution Office, who is in Rwanda on an official visit, reiterated on Monday that they are going to step up efforts to speed up the trials of people residing in foreign countries, especially in France, yet accused of their role in the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Prince Manzi has more.
This is the first time Jean-François Ricard, the first prosecutor of the French Terrorism Prosecution Office, has visited Rwanda. The France's National Terrorism Prosecution Office has been tasked with prosecuting genocide against the Tutsi suspects in France. On Monday, Jean-François Ricard held discussions with Rwanda's National Public Prosecution Authority that tackled on speeding up the trials of individuals residing outside Rwanda and accused of their involvement in the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda. The discussions were participated in by Serge Bramatz, the prosecutor of the International Residual Mechanism for Criminal Tribunals.
Nous devons juger, c'est un impératif.
We have to try. It is our job. Time runs, and so we have to do it soon. This year, France is ready to continue to prosecute the accused of their involvement in the genocide against the Tutsi we have already put in place. So we achieved this due to the fact that in the work of collecting evidence, we work closely with the Rwandan prosecution in prosecuting the perpetrators of these crimes residing in France. That is our priority. We have no other choice. We must do so for the survivors of the genocide against the Tutsi, even if we have to do it 100 or 1,000 times. I find it insufficient compared to the great loss they endured, but we have to keep working.
Nous devons le faire même si nous savons que nous ne serons jamais à la hauteur de ce qui a été commis.
French justice system has so far tried 7 people accused of their involvement in the genocide against the Tutsi, and there's an ongoing collection of information on 40 others. The prosecutor of the International Residual Mechanism for Criminal Tribunals, Serge Bramatz, demonstrates that providing justice is essential for the survivors of the genocide against the Tutsi.
Je me rappelle quand l'année dernière, il y avait Kaishima arrêté en Afrique du Sud, comme vous le savez.
Last year, when Kaishema was arrested in South Africa, I and the Prosecutor General went to Nyange because we wanted to convey the message that Kaishema had been arrested to the survivors of the genocide in Nyange. At that time, we met with about 30 survivors, and I saw how for them that arrest and about to be tried is so important, regardless of the time interval after the crime was committed. Whatever we do, we put it into consideration the survivors, and we are satisfied when we see what has been done is impactful in terms of the one who has been convicted of these serious crimes is punished. As we remember for the 30th time the genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi, I want to remind the international community and those who say that what happened is history to go beyond. It is important to remember that the lives of the survivors of the genocide have been affected 30 years ago, and they wait on justice every single day.
Et tous les jours, ils attendent à ce que justice soit rendue.
The Rwanda's Prosecutor General, Aimable Havugiyaremye, reiterated that the collaboration between the government of Rwanda, other countries, and international tribunals is crucial in arresting the accused of the genocide. Currently, Rwanda has sent 1,149 international arrest warrants in 33 countries across the world, and 30 people accused of the involvement in the genocide against the Tutsi were extradited to Rwanda. Prince Madzi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Prince. Still on this, also on Monday, Jean-François Ricard visited the Kigali Genocide Memorial at Gisozi, where he paid respect to the victims of the genocide buried there. He was also incited on the history of the country in regards to the preparations and execution of the genocide against the Tutsi and the journey to rebuild the country. After visiting the Genocide Memorial, in his message, he reiterated the need for bringing everyone who had a role in the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi to justice.
Outre la douleur immense que l'on ressent, permet de comprendre clairement ce qui s'est passé.
Despite the heartbreaking sorrow, visiting the memorial helps a person understand the reality about the genocide against the Tutsi, but also to understand the journey Rwandans went through to rebuild the country, but especially help us who are in the justice system to fight the culture of not punishing crimes. Genocide perpetrators should be prosecuted and judged, regardless where they might be or how long it might take. Justice must be delivered, because there is no future otherwise.
Et les participants au génocide doivent être poursuivis et jugés où qu'ils se trouvent, peu importe le lieu, peu importe le temps qui se serait écoulé, la justice doit passer. Il n'y a pas d'avenir sans justice.
Moving ahead, but keeping it in the justice sector, in an effort to bolster the delivery of quality justice, over 400 lawyers underwent a training on Monday, facilitated by the experts from the Rwanda Forensic Institute. The focus was to equip our lawyers with the necessary skills to effectively utilize evidence provided by the Institute during court proceedings as they advocate for their clients. Kiedezo Norbert testifies that in the past 2 months, his client, who was accused of raping and killing a lady in Kigali, was acquitted thanks to the evidence provided by the Rwanda Forensic Institute. He shares sentiments with a mother who, through DNA tests, saw the biological relationship between her child and the father confirmed after he had denied paternity for years. The evidence taken from the crime scene, both from the victim and the suspect, indicated that the accused was excluded from the rape and murder.
It made me very happy. I had a big issue of my child, whose father had denied paternity. The child was registered to me alone, yet they should have the right to both parents. I did it to give my child a chance to have both parents.
The chairperson of the Rwanda Bar Association, Hundabarashi Moise, reiterated that the one-day training given to more than 400 lawyers will help them to contribute to the provision of proper justice.
Ibyo bintu byose rero uno munsi Rwanda Forensic Institute ifite ubushobozi bwo kubasha kubimenya.
Today, the Rwanda Forensic Institute has the capacity to reveal all those things, to recognize the voice, fingerprints, the credibility of documents, forgery, and other things. We thought that lawyers, as influential people in justice, should know the information have access to evidence so as to enable appropriate justice delivery. The Director General of the Rwanda Forensic Institute, Dr. Charles Karangwa, noted that the agreements signed with the Rwanda Bar Association will allow lawyers to request and analyze the evidence provided by the institute. Before, it was the Rwanda Forensic Institute providing the evidence in courts, but Rwanda's justice system is growing. Cases increase every day. That is why we want to make it possible for lawyers to do it themselves, and we can intervene when much needed. The training will be expanded to judges so that they can too get the knowledge, hence reducing the burden on the institute. The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Justice, Mbonera Theophile, reiterated that the training will speed up the functioning of the justice sector. When lawyers understand the evidence provided, it even reduces the time spent on a case, but also enables the sharing of evidence information with their clients, but most importantly, enable an up-to-date justice delivery. From 2018 to February 2024, the Rwanda Forensic Institute's laboratory has carried out about 43,798 tests that have been used in justice for Rwandans and foreigners. The institute has partnership agreements with 12 countries. Professional accountants working in various institutions, especially government agents, commend the training on international public sector accounting standards, which will help them to correct some of the mistakes that they have been making, bringing losses to the government and their particular institutions. The 5-day workshop is being held in Nyagatare district. The first day involved discussions on some of the mistakes companies make, like proper asset registration. Participants committed to addressing the issue, including the assets in their organization's books of accounts. Normally, state accounting is based on how money is spent, also known as cash basis, which leads to improper recording. ICPAR, the organizer of the training, reiterated that the training is meant to help professional accountants avoid such mistakes by putting efforts into international accounting standards. And the report brings us to the end of our tonight's edition. But before stepping out, here's a quick recap of the headlines. On Monday, President Paul Kagame and his Angolan counterpart met in Rwanda for discussions on peace efforts as the DRC crisis escalates. Rwanda's gross domestic product surpassed the initial projections of 6.2% to register a growth of 8.2% in 2023. And to international matters, Zambia has received the first shipment of the new medicine to prevent HIV infection. And that's all from us here at RB's Rwanda Television News. On behalf of the entire news production as well as the technical team that made it happen, many thanks for being with us on today's edition. And up until next time, stay safe, and we wish you a great and fruitful week ahead. Goodbye.